In a land that's ruled by swords and absolutely zero access to Wikipedia, one man rises from the mud. His name is Gogg. Welcome back to Mount Blade Bannerlord, where today we're following Gogg, a visionary, a philosopher, a man who just huffed his 7th bottle of horse glue and now thinks he's Ra, the sun god. Armed with nothing but several dozen diseases that are yet to be named and a brain fueled on the several buckets of glue he keeps eating, he sets out to found a cult, the Cult of Ra. A group dedicated to purging Calradia of the powerful, the influential, and simply anyone who stands in his way. It all begins as all great movements do, by screaming at strangers and harassing them in the street. Gogg storms through villages, shouting doom at peasants. With no access to books, literacy, or any kind of critical thinking, it's unsurprising that the villagers begin to believe him. No one exactly knows what he screams at people, but through witness accounts, we can only assume it's something similar to this. You're gonna die! You're about to die! They're handed a robe, a hammer, and are immediately promoted to necromancer. They're not necromancers. They are untrained peasants, but thanks to us starting out as clan level 3, Gogg can recruit many of them, which is extremely useful because they're physically and spiritually useless. As time goes on, the glue consumption ramps up, and so does the recruitment. The cult moves town to town, harassing locals, collecting more brainwashed followers, and ambushing looters, under the belief that killing them somehow enables the raising of the dead. It absolutely does not. But they believe it does, and in war, confidence is worth more than armor, and armor is something they absolutely do not have. In a moment of optimism while passing by a nearby town, Gogg hires a seasoned warrior he met in a tavern named Rothard. Within 24 hours of being given control of a war party, Rothard nearly bankrupts the entire cult. Cultists, who are normally paid less than a child worker, now have to split their wage with a man whose diet appears to be gold-encrusted loaves of bread. To stabilize the cult's finances, Gogg makes the only logical decision, attacking a caravan and starting a war with an entire fucking kingdom. The ambush is a shocking success. Traders are wiped out in seconds despite having every tactical advantage. At this point, Gogg begins to suspect that the cultists might actually have some kind of inhuman powers. Or perhaps their sheer delusion has elevated them to a higher form of combat. The loot is sold, Rothard's wages cool down, and the cult's finances finally begin to recover. With glue in his lungs and confidence in his eyes after their recent victories, Gogg targets his first castle. We go out to besiege it, and the garrison sallies out to meet us. They're outnumbered, and things are looking really promising. Then the arrows begin flying. And a sudden realization that the robes in fact are not anti-ballistic starts to kick in. Gogg is taken prisoner, and the Battanians, unsure of whether to mock him or fear him, release him for a modest bribe and assume that this will be the end of it. This is only the beginning. Gogg rebuilds, faster than expected. While out recruiting more gullible peasants to the cause, he stumbles into a noble, a well-known noble of Battania. The cult annihilates her army. And she becomes the first noble sacrificed in the name of Ra. Shortly after, another noble, Reneon, catches up. We try to outrun him, but it's no use.
Stop there, stranger. I bid you peace. At least until I find out who you are, anyway.
He has archers, high ground, and the most basic military tactics you could learn. Gogg has a wooden hammer he stole from an old woman 10 years ago. It goes exactly how you'd expect. He's captured again, but once more the Battanians accept a bribe so insultingly low it raises ethical questions. Either they still don't view him as a threat, or they're absolutely terrified of him and think that having him as a prisoner can give them the Pharaoh's curse. It takes barely a day to get rebuilt again, and Gogg defeats and sacrifices another noble called Nywin, who decided that her 20 soldiers would stand a chance against almost 100 drugged up peasants that believe they know magic.
Stop there, stranger.
Then my game crashed. I reloaded the game, and my game crashed again.
You tripping, bruh. You tripping.
I'm beginning to suspect that the divine wrath of Ra may actually be real, or that the game's trying to stop this madness before it spreads. Executing our prisoner once more purely out of spite, we make our way to Ox Hall in hopes of avoiding another divine crash from the gods. Gogg feeds his cultists well. They grow strong, obedient, bloated with bread and glue, and doing so increases our steward's skill, meaning we can now command even more men. The cult army expands past the 99 troop cap that we had before, which is exactly 98 more than should be trusted with hammers. After a little more waiting, Frectore Castle is chosen as our next target. A Battanian army attempts to interfere, and it fails miserably as we hide behind a Valandian army while taunting them, eventually causing them to overextend and get caught by said Valandian army. As we begin the siege, a Battanian lord attempts to be a hero and stop us from laying siege, but he's quickly met with 100 hammers bonking him on the head. This time, Gogg lets him live. Not out of mercy, but pure fear. The last time a noble was sacrificed, reality itself collapsed, and so instead we set him free, as I'm almost 3 hours into trying to film this and I mentally can't handle another game crash. The siege continues. Trebuchets rain down, and the walls begin to break. A quick panic save is initiated out of fear of the curse of Ra, and then the cult charges in. They win with very little in the means of opposition, and the cult of Ra now has land. Unfortunately for us, Battania responds immediately. Overwhelming numbers arrive, and the cult tries to fight, but we lose. Gogg is captured once again, by yet another noble whose name is irrelevant because he'll probably get sacrificed in the next video. But this isn't the end of the story, because this time the cult took something that can't be taken back. We may have taken and lost a castle, we may have lost a battle. They laughed at Gogg, they called him mad, they called his followers glue-sniffing lunatics. They were damn right, but the cult of Ra's only just begun. And this short story is a prime example of why you should play Mount Blade Bannerlord. If you enjoyed this video, maybe consider liking it and subscribing, as I make content like this every single week. As always, I've been Justuseless, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Farewell.